Good morning. Great to see you all here this morning. We welcome those who will be watching online now or later. It's a beautiful day. I'd like to thank Chris Beery for her wonderful piano music, and thanks to Tim Ritchie Martin, who's handling our tech this morning. Our speaker today is Laura Stone. Most of you were living here when Laura was our chaplain here at Timbercrest, and now she's working as the district executive for the South Central District of Indiana Church of the Brethren. Laura is accompanied today by Sam, who's a steady partner and very faithful. Before Laura speaks, we're going to sing from your blue hymnal, number 504, Have Thine Own Way. We'll sing 4 verses. 504, Have Thine Own Way.
It's always really good to be with you all. Thank you for inviting me. I want to talk about transformation this morning. That's a word we've been using in the district a lot, and it's a word that gets thrown around. I actually saw it on a sign in Timbercrest this morning, right inside the front door. It said something about transforming with purpose or something like that. So we'll start with these couple of scriptures. From John 3, verse 5, in the Message translation. Let me say it again, unless a person submits to this original creation, the wind hovering over the water creation, the invisible moving the visible, a baptism into a new life, it's not possible to enter God's kingdom. And then this from Matthew 19, 25 through 26. The disciples were staggered. Then who has any chance at all? Jesus looked hard at them and said, no chance at all if you think you can pull it off yourself. Every chance in the world if you trust God to do it. So we've been using the word transformation around the district a lot lately. It's been a word that has felt descriptive of the season we're feeling called into. keep an eye out. There will be more chances for information if you're interested in what's happening in the district. It has felt like a privilege to be part of. And this word transformation has been a word that I have begun to take more seriously for all of the powerful implications it contains. So we've been in the midst of a grant process, and those of us who have been involved so far, our board, our committees, our staff, even our consultant and myself and the listening session attendees, it's begun asking something of us. And many of us have felt tugged in uncomfortable ways as we face into wounds and patterns that have been slowly and quietly draining us of life for a long time. Noticing and naming, loving and healing these spaces has already involved a significant amount of emotion, prayer, energy, communal discernment, even forgiveness and grace for ourselves and each other. Earlier this year, I found myself facing my own period of spiritual and emotional darkness, temptation to despair, and I worried about whether we, your district leaders, were discerning Christ's leading and following it faithfully. I prayed for clarity and direction, and in the deepest dark, God woke me up in the middle of the night to stories of Nicodemus and the rich young ruler. The two scriptures that I referenced, that I quoted earlier, come from those two stories. Those stories in the middle of the night were singing through my soul, and God led me back to the book Spirituality and the Awakening Self to remind me of what transformation really involves. We humans tend to like growth more than we like transformation. Growth is incremental, goal-oriented. It has markers of progress along the way. It has a slow and steady pace. It often involves our own effort, our own discipline, our own willpower. We like it because we get to feel in control of the changes and their pacing, and there is a time for growth. Transformation, on the other hand, is not something we control. It's in the Spirit's hands, and it comes as pure gift. Our role in transformation is not to create the transformation. Our role is to say yes, to consent, to open ourselves to the work that the Spirit will do in us. Transformation involves radical discontinuity because something old must die before the new can rise in us. Richard Rohr talks about this, about dying before you die. So transformation looks like this, whoosh. My district people have, occasionally I'll get the I'm in the whoosh, right? Whoosh. It involves the old dying and this space where the old is gone, but the new hasn't come yet, which is very uncomfortable. And then we get glimpses, and then we start to live into the new. Transformation requires risky, rooted trust because we don't get to see the new before we are asked to let go of the old. In the middle, it feels messy and sometimes even painful. The story of Nicodemus, John 3, 1 through 21, when it came to me in the middle of the night, had me realizing that birth, remember Nicodemus asks about what must I do? And Jesus says, be born again. Be born from above, be born from the Spirit. Had me realizing that birth from the perspective of the one being born is this kind of radical discontinuity. The baby in the womb cannot even imagine what life outside the womb will entail. The process of emerging from the safety and comfort of the womb is a difficult one for both mother and child, and the new world takes so very much getting used to, months and even years worth of learning and growing. What must feel like an abrupt ending to the infant is only the very beginning of something much grander. When I read the passage with that perspective, I notice how much Nicodemus is grasping for understanding and how difficult Jesus' answers are for him to make sense of. Nicodemus is asking growth questions. Jesus is giving transformation answers. So Jesus says, you must be born from above, transformation. Nicodemus says, but how do I do it? Growth. Jesus says, you don't. God does. The Spirit blows where it will. Transformation. Nicodemus says, but it's not possible. It doesn't make sense. Growth. Jesus answers, God is love and life and light. Transformation. Similarly, the rich young ruler, Matthew 19 and Luke 18, he comes to Jesus looking for a growth answer. What's my next step, Jesus? So the rich young ruler, I've done all these things. What's my next step? Now what do I do? How do I achieve my goal? He receives a transformation answer. Let go of everything. Surrender and follow. When he walks away from the transformation possibility, because God will always honor our choice to say no, Jesus tells the disciples to have compassion because of how hard it is for us humans to open ourselves to transformation when we are grasping on to worldly things for our security. The disciples see themselves in the rich young ruler. They notice their own attachments, and they ask, who then has any chance at all? They too are asking a growth question. And Jesus gives them a transformation answer. No chance on your own. Trusting God, every chance in the world. Transformation feels like death in the middle because it is the death of our idols, our false selves, the illusions we grasp onto for some sense of security. But this death is the kind that makes way for resurrection, for taking hold of the life that is truly life, for receiving new life in all its fullness. So if you are in the midst of transformation, in the messy middle, and we underestimate this in our elders, but you all, in dealing with all of the grief that you walk through, all of the challenges that your body gives you day by day, there is transformation happening in you. There is that opportunity. If you are feeling the trepidation of the middle, what did we get ourselves into? In your own life or in the life of your family or a church, then I invite you to listen for the invitation within the question. We say yes to transformation, and though it won't feel easy every step of the way, it will always be accompanied by the Spirit's hovering over the chaos and darkness and unformed depths, bringing new life and light and vision in each of us and all of us together. We say yes to God's work in us, and then we bring all our spiritual practices to bear to anchor ourselves in trust, to keep listening for Jesus' voice, and to trust that God will work God's holy plan in and through us for the good of the world and the coming of the kingdom. Because our God is a God of resurrection. We are God's beloved children. I will take a moment to say, if you're curious about what this means in the district, I'm always happy to receive a phone call or come make a visit. We are identifying leaders within the district who are ready for this kind of transformation. And we are combining skills and community and deep listening to God and prayerful postures. And something amazing is happening. I hoped that this is what would happen, but my imagination was too small. It is happening beyond what I thought. there is transformation happening in these small groups, 15, 11 people, that is upending lives in really beautiful ways. And then those folks are taking it out into their churches, and those churches are starting to be upended in the most beautiful ways. And I feel it as such a privilege to be witness to and to be co-participating with the Spirit in this work. And so I offer my my life, my faith testimony, and the faith testimony of the district in this season to say that, well, I'll say it in one of my board members said this to me. Boy, this transformation stuff is hard and it's painful, but every once in a while I get a glimpse of who I am, who we are on the other side of this, and I like that person. I like that group. And so I keep at it, right? And so every moment, I see this in the life of the district and in the life of congregations, and I know it happens in my life. I suspect it happens in yours. God will often say, here. And it's up to us to say yes. And a lot of times, the yes that we say is not like, oh, yeah, definitely. Because very often God is asking of us something that will stretch us. Very often God says, here. And the people who say yes to transformation often say, maybe? Yeah, I guess I could take a first step toward that, right? That's all it takes for God to start opening doors. The trick is, we say yes. It's not on us. God offers this as free gift, pure gift. It's not on us to create it. It is on us to say yes. And in the midst of transformation, we keep saying yes. If we say no, this is what happens. God says here, and we say, no. And God says, okay. And then a little bit later, God will say, here. And God, thank God, God is so patient and so persistent. God will keep offering things for us to say yes to. And so, in the ways that we can practice saying yes, we have a God that invites us to the transformation of the death of all that wounds and destroys, and the resurrection of life that is truly life. So I'll leave us with a favorite song of mine. You should look it up. It's sung really beautifully by gospel singers. But this will be our prayer and benediction for closing. So I invite you, if you'd like to close your eyes, if you'd like to open your hands on your lap, and pray this with me. I'll say yes, Lord, yes, to your will and to your way. I'll say yes, Lord, yes. I will trust you and obey when your Spirit speaks to me. With my whole heart I'll agree, and my answer will be yes, Lord, yes. I'll say yes, Lord, yes, to your will and to your way. I'll say yes, Lord, yes. I will trust you and obey when your Spirit speaks to me. With my whole heart I'll agree, and my answer will be yes, Lord, yes.